but always allowing it to arise out of the curiosity of the student, not the agenda of the teacher.
So each time he went through it, it came out of the curiosity of the student rather than through the agenda of the teacher.
Yeah, I mean, that's pretty much a direct quote from Desikachar, the way that he would frame the student-teacher relationship. Mm. That what he would often say is the object of meditation for the teacher is the student. Mm. And so you're taking yourself in some ways out of the picture, just in terms of what your belief system, philosophy, agenda may be, and focusing entirely on the person in front of you and presenting things that are relevant for their context, that arise hopefully out of their understanding. And I definitely had this experience personally with Desikachar, where he would always throw the questions back on me, and would never interject, as much as I was like literally begging him to interject his own answers into my inquiry. There were times when I was like mightily struggling with some very fundamental questions, and I would have seen in any answer he threw at me like a life preserver at that point. And he preferred to let me flounder around and learn to swim on my own rather than giving me, one of his answers in place of something I could find on my own.
So could you say that sort of answer given from a teacher can be like a life preserver, which may or may not be necessary depending upon the student? If a student is not able to swim on their own,
yeah,
it's something needed. And if the student has the capacity to work through the struggle and not drown, is that?
Yeah, well, if you're using that metaphor, you can always suggest they go to shallower water. I mean, you can stretch a metaphor in a lot of different directions.
Right. For example, as I'm listening to you, what arises for me was how he will capture what I was excited of. Now I'm very filled with spirit person. And so he would celebrate the characteristic of my aliveness. For example, I would see that I would make little drawing with a heart on my notebook. And he would give me gifts with a heart and say, you really understand the heart, people.
Yes.
Keep on. So it's like, encouraging me to keep on trusting how I felt the heart of people, the emotions of people, the tenderness of people, and let that be my doorway to my relationship with them and my interpretation of the teaching. So he will not give answer, but he will give support, encouragement to that. That was already part of the deep trade conditioning of myself. And in that, also inviting the expansion, and now lead these people in an experience of who am I? Out of the nowhere. And so 20 years later, I feel like, what a technique. But that's what we do with young people. When I see, for example, a young person and I feel their passion, I see in them, I have a confidence in them more than they have in themselves.
Yes.
And that is an incredible encouragement.
Yeah, that's an important point. There were times when his faith in my ability to find answers for myself had to be stronger than mine was.
Exactly. Totally.
Yeah.
So then 20 years later or 30 years later, I look back with tenderness and saying, he gave me basically a guideline to offer my lifetime to it. And I didn't offer my life force, my life study to what he wanted. He supported me to dive deeper in what was already the spirit-given energy. I mean, what a skill, what a love.
Yeah.
What for love, I mean, really, as I speak now, somebody that is a true spiritual mentor. You know? And that way,
Yeah,
for spirit, I mean that quality of love.
yeah, it came through so clearly, you know, and his insistence that yoga is relationship
Hmm.
seems to keep coming back around and on deeper and deeper levels. I mean, it's such a simple statement to be able to say, you know, and it can be understood um, right at the very beginning as you know, something important. But the more as all of us have done, you know, if we devote our lives to these things, the more you work with other people in a variety of situation, the more profound that simple statement becomes. Yoga's relationship, because it's true on every level. I mean, even on the political level, for example, because as you know, I've been involved in some of the bigger discussions and debates surrounding certification standards for teachers, and how, you know, the organizations um, that deal with those standards can protect the industry of teaching yoga and all of that. And if we don't have that yoga is relationship as a core value, we wouldn't know how to conduct ourselves on that level, on that bigger level, you know, in order to protect that relationship. That yoga is relationship turns out to be like a fundamental ethical principle, as much as anything. You know, it's like the first yama, if you will, you know, of what it is that we would protect through our actions. So it just gets deeper and deeper, you know, and it's again such a simple statement to hear when you first hear it. Yoga is relationship, but it turns out that if you could just sum up in 3 words Jessica Char's teaching, it would have to be that.